contagious. Once you witness it, it's impossible to settle for less. The 1990s weren't just another chapter in bodybuilding history. They were the rebirth of legends. This was the era of titans, a time when physiques were carved not just for size, but for symmetry, detail, and raw, unapologetic dominance. The 90s stage was a battlefield.
Everybody, we going to war with each other.
And every show felt like an all-out war for perfection. Dorian Yates, the Shadow, rewrote the rulebook with his granite hard conditioning and sheer mass.
I think there was just a lot of really good guys all at one time in the 90s. And when I was in bodybuilding, I was so immersed in it, like a tunnel vision, that I literally did nothing else. I thought about nothing else.
He was a mystery off stage, but when he stepped into the spotlight, it was like witnessing a force of nature. His 6-year reign as Mr. Olympia was unmatched, a testament to his relentless work ethic and indomitable mindset.
Winner of Mr. Olympia, Dorian Yates.
But Yates wasn't alone. Enter Flextron. With a physique so flawless, it looked like it was sculpted by the gods themselves. Every pose told a story, every line a mark.
Realize, to me that now a champion isn't a champion because people say you are. And you're a champion because of your hard work and what you put down day after day after day.
You look at your best, and I measure to that, right?
Think that this looks like a mythical god, like a Greek god from back in the days.
I haven't seen that type of shape yet. You just don't see that.
stage ready like a superhero donning his armor.
I've seen Kevin go from
Whose classic lines and polished presentation made him the poster child for timeless bodybuilding artistry.
everybody competes on a certain level. But when I was competing, they were looking at everybody else. Everybody was like, whoa, man, you got people shape, you got people conditioning. It was all over. It was like, where this dude come from?
I would say definitely that was the most intense period.
Mr. Olympia was, the pinnacle of bodybuilding was very popular.
Ronnie's got that vibe you never can deny. Kevin LeBron's legacy reaching.
Contradiction to the rules of the 90s. While the era was dominated by towering giants, Lee stood shorter but packed a physique so freakish it left the crowd in disbelief. Ronnie Coleman, the name alone shakes the foundations of bodybuilding history. In the 90s, he wasn't just a man, he was a juggernaut. His size was unimaginable, his strength legendary. When Ronnie stepped onto the stage, it was like watching a storm roll in, unstoppable, unrelenting, undeniable. With every year, but just lift weights. He lifted the sport itself. Nasser El Sombati, the uncrowned king, was a force unlike any other. A mountain of muscle wrapped in razor-sharp conditioning. Nasser wasn't just competing, he was demanding respect. With every pose, he stood toe-to-toe with legends, proving that size, symmetry, and an iron will could rewrite the rules. He didn't need a sandout to validate his legacy. Nasser was greatness, a symbol of the 90s raw, unfiltered hunger for dominance.
Jay Cutler was the relentless underdog, the man who rose from the shadows of legends. In an era dominated by freaks and titans, Jay brought a physique carved from stone and a work ethic that refused to break. He wasn't flashy, he was focused. Every rep, every set, every sacrifice, it all built a man who would stop at nothing to etch his name into the history books. Jay wasn't chasing dreams, he was hunting destiny. The German freak who made size his signature. His delts were planets, his width a force of nature. Marcus wasn't just in an era of mass monsters, he stood as a giant among giants. Marcus didn't just enter the room, he owned it, proving that sometimes bigger really is better. And these men made it legendary.
It's like every athlete was sculpted from granite, each one a human specimen that made you pause and think, how does this even make sense? The 90s weren't just about muscle, they were about originality. These athletes didn't just build a body, they built legacy. What they brought to the stage had never been done but been replicated since. You could feel the energy in the air. Fans would ask, who is this guy? Where did he come? Bodybuilding history. The glory days. A time when greatness wasn't an exception, it was the rule. Looking back, you can only admire the era when giants walked among us and the sport reached its peak.